Welcome to AAMG YouTube channel. AAMG is your health companion. Today, we are very fortunate to invite our AAMG community partners, NICOS. So NICOS has sent its representative, Leah Yu, with us. And Leah Yu is the health educator for the Tobacco Cessation Project. And we would like to learn from her how, through her experience, helping many people successfully quit smoking during the pandemic. Thank you, Leah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today.
So let me ask you a question. Smoking, it's bad for the smokers. Will it affect the people around them?
Yes, the answer is yes. Smoking can also affect the people around a smoker, and the reason it's because of second and third-hand smoke. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with what second-hand smoke is, which is breathing in the smoke released from a smoker. However, for third-hand smoke, it might be a new term for some of you guys. And so third-hand smoke, it's basically the residue of smoke or leftover of tobacco products or the particles that is left behind on surfaces such as door handles, furniture, clothes, hair, and etc. And people can be exposed to third-hand smoke through contacting with these contaminated surfaces.
I see. That's good description. So may I ask, some people actually have tried quitting smoking in the past, but haven't been very successful. Could you explain why this happened in your experience?
I just want to say that quitting smoking, it's not an easy process. Usually for a lot of smokers, it takes several or even many tries in order to successfully quit smoking. Back in February, when I conducted a tobacco-free class series, I had participants who told me they had quit for over a month and some even a year. But for some reasons, they experienced relapse. They have gone back to smoking again, and that's how they ended up in my tobacco cessation class. So I just want to say that, in order to quit smoking successfully, the individual have to find the right method to help them to quit, such as using medications, which are called the nicotine replacement therapies. They are medications that help smokers with their withdrawal symptoms. They can also attend cessation classes and gaining support from their family members and friends. And I just want to say that quitting smoking is hard, but you all can do it, and don't give up. Just keep trying until you're successful.
That's good. So may I ask, why is it so difficult to quit smoking?
Well, it's very difficult to quit smoking because of the 3 challenges smokers face during their cessation process, and this is known as the triangle of addiction. So a triangle has 3 corners, right? So each corner of the triangle represents one challenge. So the smoker is basically stuck inside this triangle, and in order to successfully quit or break through this triangle, he or she needs to fight off these challenges. So the 3 challenges are emotional need, physical need, and habit. And emotional need, it's basically emotions that trigger someone to smoke. So they use smoking as a coping mechanism. And then for physical need, or we can call it addiction, it's our brain and our body, it's addicted to a chemical that is found in all tobacco products, which is nicotine. So basically this chemical relaxes the body and reduces stress and anxiety. And this is the reason why smokers are addicted to smoking, because their brain enjoy having this pleasant chemical in their body system. And lastly, it's habit. So like over time, a smoker would begin to incorporate smoking as part of their daily life. And they may also have come to associate smoking with other activities or with certain situations. For example, one might smoke whenever they are on their lunch break at work or hanging out with friends.
So could you actually explain some very effective strategies to help a smoker to quit smoking successfully?
I actually have a couple of effective strategies that's effective to help someone to quit. So the first one would be first of all, they need to identify the trigger that make them want to smoke. So after, if they're able to identify the trigger, then they can come up with like alternatives or solutions to address the trigger. For example, like when they're feeling unhappy, instead of smoking, they should maybe talk to someone, or I guess distract themselves from being unhappy. And also, secondly, they can use nicotine replacement therapy. Again, they're a form of medication that help with withdrawal symptoms. So they comes in the forms of lozenges, patch, gum, a patch, and the gum. So 4 forms of NRTs or the medications. And thirdly, you can keep track of your daily smoking intake. You could do that on a piece of paper, or there's also apps where you can use to keep track of your smoking intake. So if you're able to do this consecutively for over 3 days, then you might be able to find if there is a particular time or a particular emotion that tends to trigger you to smoke more. Then you can come up with solutions to address that. And lastly, there are 5 things that a smoker should do to cope with urges. For example, they should drink water, delaying their craving, taking deep breaths, forming discussion with their loved ones or friends. And also lastly, it's to distract themselves from having this desire to smoke. And these are all the effective strategies that I have.
That's great. Yeah, thank you for the tips. I think those are very useful. During the pandemic, could you actually explain to us, for smokers, are they at high risk? How easy they would contract it with the COVID-19?
So according to the World Health Organization, they stated that smokers during this pandemic are at a higher risk of contracting the virus. And the reason is that the act of smoking requires the use of hand-to-mouth movement. So there is a possible transmission of the virus being transferred from our hand to our mouth if we don't keep our hands clean. And I also want to talk about smoking itself. It's already impairing one's lung function. So it will make it even harder for the body to fight off the coronavirus infection and other respiratory diseases in the future. So during this pandemic, the WHO, they recommend that smokers should consider quitting smoking to protect their health.
I see. So during the pandemic, a lot of people are quite stressful. So would this increase tobacco usage?
Yes, to some degree, it will increase their tobacco usage. I just want to share out that according to the CDC, they stated that whenever people feel stressed, they will start to smoke. People use smoking as a self-medication to cope with any unpleasant feelings that they're having. For example, feeling unhappy, feeling frustrated, or experiencing stress. And the reason why people would use smoking as a way to cope with negative feelings, and it's because of there's a chemical, like I mentioned earlier, nicotine. It's a chemical that makes the body feels relaxed, feels at peace. So, and this is the reason why people are, addicted to the use of smoking as a way to cope with any stress that they have or any negative emotion that they have. But I want to emphasize that smoking does not help us to get rid of stress. It can only provide a temporary relief from the stress. However, the stress will eventually come back to us because we're not taking any action to address it.
I see. Could you actually elaborate on how tobacco usage related to mental health?
Well, so for some people, they may not realize that tobacco use actually have a mental health component to it, which is addiction is due to the chemical dependence in the brain. Specifically, the brain is addicted to this chemical nicotine. And again, like I mentioned earlier, nicotine, it's a chemical that helps the body to feel relaxed and feeling less stressed, and our brain enjoy having this pleasant feeling. However, this effect only lasts about 5 minutes at a time. So once the effect is gone or the concentration of nicotine is running low in our body system, our brain sends a signal us to start to smoke to deliver more nicotine into our body. And this is a repeated cycle. So we do it over and over again. And I also want to touch upon about individuals with mental health illnesses. So according to the American Psychological Association, people with pre-existing mental health conditions are more likely to use tobacco to hide their symptoms so that they don't experience it, and also to mask away any side effects from medication that they are using. And I want to point out that given the current pandemic and the rise in violence against Asian Americans, for folks who have already been affected by a certain mental health condition, there's a possibility that these events will trigger them to smoke even more. So I just want to say during this challenging period, we should pay more attention to these individuals.
So, and could you actually share with us any community resource assisting in quitting smoke?
So there are a couple of resources that are available in the community to help smokers. The first one is that we can get help from our physicians. They can provide us guidance on what to do and possibly even prescribe medications to help us with the withdrawal symptoms from quitting smoking. And then secondly, we can look for if there are cessation classes that are being offered in our community. And thirdly, our organization is currently working on this tobacco-free project. So if anyone is interested in quitting, feel free to reach out to me. My phone number and my contact info are listed in the slides. And so, yeah, during the call, I will provide you with a brief counseling. And let's say if you need additional help, for example, if you're interested in the smoking cessation medication, then I can refer you to the Asian Smokers Quit Line. They are currently offering the free 2-week starter kit of nicotine patch. So yeah, I can refer you, and then you can get this free nicotine patch for 2 weeks. And also, our organization is providing an extra incentive for whoever call us to ask this question about smoking cessations. So the extra incentive, it's a water bottle, contains with a lot of small goodies in it. And we also provide a mask and also a bottle of hand sanitizers.
Oh, sounds great. Thank you so much for your resource. I think a lot of viewers can benefit from it. And hope to see you next time. Yeah.
Thank you.